Okay, so this is a project I've been working on and off with for about 2 months. It is, let me get this for you, a Crosley 58 TK right here. It looks like this, about 8 inches or so across. But generally speaking, when you see something covered with a cloth or a sheet, uh, it might be considered dead. And this one certainly fits close to that bill. So without further ado, I'll reveal the pane. So what we have here is the cabinet. This cabinet I scrubbed and cleaned it the best I can. Cracks here. The corner was cracked, and it's missing a huge chunk out of the side. I pulled the dial cover out to clean it up. The glue, it was just falling out, so I cleaned that up. I also took the grill cloth out. It's very, very dirty. I'll see if I can clean that up, and I'll see also if maybe some JB Weld could remanufacture a side here. We'll see. I like the cabinet kind of like this. One of the issues would be is these stripes here are gone on this side, so I think I would have to sand what's left off there to redo the side. So let me put this aside. And so in working on this one, you can see there's a blast pattern. Let me put this on pause and put the light on. Alright, so there we go. You can see that something fried in there, all over the place, kinda. Does not look good at all. I started replacing all the parts, all the capacitors and as many resistors as I have here. And then came to the realization that I was J-hooking J-hooks. You can see, let's see here, just really burnt up. Somebody had come in here and rewired the whole thing, I guess, in order to try to make it work. And that I kind of came to that realization when after I finished replacing all the capacitors and resistors, that I was redoing what someone had already redone. So what I think I'm going to do with this one is redo it again and do it clean from the start and see if we can't get this thing going. The pot, let me turn down here we go. Yeah, the pot for the volume pot and on off is shot, so it has to be replaced. But I don't have any pots with switches on them, so I just wired in a pot, a 1 meg ohm pot, to see if the volume actually came up on this thing, which it does for a little while. And then I think what happens is one of the tubes, a 12 AT6, which is hard to come by, it starts to fade after a minute or two, and then it just goes quiet. So I think it's a tube issue rather than any of the parts in here, as there's almost no old parts in here left to fail. The speaker is no longer glued to the basket. except in a couple places, so it sounds very crappy. I thought maybe the speaker was bad, so I just temporarily wired in this spare speaker I got here. Let me make sure the volume's up. I'll turn it on, and what I'm going to do is just I'll fire this up just to give you a listen to what it does. The tubes do eventually heat up. Right there you can see it starting to come up. And I'll come to a station that I know is around this part of the dial. Anyway, before YouTube hits me on that one, I'll turn it down. One of the other things I had to do on this, let me shut this off so I don't get electrocuted. The back panel that has the antenna, you can see right there, I had to manufacture some of these standoffs, and I had to soak it in alcohol to soften it up, and then overnight, over a couple of days, I had weights on it to flatten it out. That's another thing I had to do. This thing was in really bad shape. So what I plan on doing here, I think, is I'm going to completely rewire the whole thing from scratch and see if we can't get this thing up and running. It'll be a nice long project. I don't have to worry about finding more radios when I got this example sitting right here. Yeah, so looks like some sort of dystopian urban street. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on.